and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe, right here in Lagos studios.
Sporty greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. Cecilia, good to have you on the show again tonight. There's so much going on in our world of sports. And the China Eagles gave us one for the road. I think we should take it.
Yeah, impressive performance tonight. They didn't want that unwanted record. Just imagine if Nigeria had lost all 3 games. I mean, not scoring, maybe conceding up to 8 goals, where it was 5 goals scoring 2. Yes, it was impressive performance tonight, but a little too late for Nigeria. And Congo, of course, will be beating themselves coming into this final group game on 2 points. But then they finished at the bottom. Nigeria, 3 points, but that was a little too late. Because Senegal and, of course, Sudan, who topped the group on goal difference, +4, courtesy, of course, of Super Eagles Team B. That's how they got that. They are already in the quarterfinals. Also, yes, we'll be talking about that on the show tonight. Super Eagles Team B performance, what really went wrong. We will try as much as possible to dissect that game on the show tonight, especially the one for today, what they did today and what they couldn't do in the first 2 games. Yes, the Tigers will also get our attention. They will be playing against one of the tallest teams in Africa. Of course, you know, South Sudan happens to be another one. They face each other, and South Sudan are out. So Senegal are 5 times champion or 7 times champion. They will be up against the Tigers tomorrow. We will be dwelling on that. And former captain Olumide Oyedeji will be joining us on the show to talk about what they can do differently to close out game early, because they failed to do that against Cameroon. Yes, they won by 9 points, but then, well, my heart was in my mouth in the final moment of that game. We will talk more on that. Chan getting our attention tonight. Basketball, of course, getting our attention tonight. And right here in the studio, for the first time since Morocco, right? I'm having Kende Idris in the studio. Kende, it's great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Drum rolls, like I said, off camera. Welcome the ever, working Cecilia Omorogbe. It's good to have you back, and it's good to share the studio once more with you. And I'm looking at the lineup. Yes, the D Tigers. I think this is super fantastic. Gets us talking, and we'll do everything dwelling on that. But the Chan Eagles, whether you call them Super Eagles, B home-based Eagles, and all of that, they salvage respect. At least if you want to talk about it, it won't be in the light of they lost all games. In fact, it wasn't like they lost 2, they drew 1, they won 1. So, good one. And then, we're looking forward to everything that has to do with our league and also CAF competitions happening.
Yeah, definitely, because the league is starting on Thursday. Wow. It's down now, right? All right, Austin, we're starting out with basketball, of course. That is getting our attention because it is big, it is huge. While the Super Eagles Team B were giving us, heartaches, headaches, anything you can think about. I mean, I've not recovered from the headache I had against Sudan. It was so bad, so bad. But then there is a team that is actually making everyone happy, and that happens to be the D Tigers. They're doing everything possible. Like, they continue from where they stopped in Libya, when we thought they can't even qualify for the, Afro-Basket. They proved everyone wrong. They went 3-0, and now they're also 3-0. That's 6 games unbeaten. Coach Mohamed Abdurrahman is doing something that we didn't expect, and of course, the boys are coming to the party. Now, we'll start off with, once Olumide Oyedeji joins us, of course, he's going to do more of the analysis for us. But Austin, the D Tigers, that game against Cameroon, what was going through your mind in the final quarter, really?
No, Cecilia, look, they did good with the first 3 quarters. The first quarter was tensed. We saw good defense and, offensive basketball from both sides. I think it was a slim lead win into the second quarter. And the second quarter, the D Tigers turned up the heat and they blew Cameroon apart. I think at the break, it was about 31 points difference or something. It was massive. And they sustained that momentum in the third quarter, did their thing. And then in the fourth quarter, some complacency, stepped in. And Coach Abdurrahman has said it's good lesson for them, and that if Senegal is thinking that they can run up on them that way, then they'll have to regret it. So I like everything that happened against Cameroon. The entire group phase, they showed good, teamwork. because if you check the game against Madagascar, Caleb Agada, I think, scored 22 points, but about 5 or 6 players were on double figures. Against Tunisia, we didn't expect that it was going to go that way, because I remember I was saying that for Tunisia to lose to Cameroon, that was a bad upset. Their first loss in 10 years, Cecilia. So I was scared that they were going to do something to Nigeria. 21 points difference, the win. 21. So he told you that these guys, they're not smiling. And against Cameroon, it was in that game against Tunisia that Josh Okogie gave us 33 points. Cecilia, who does that? It was insane. It was on fire. And then against Cameroon, yes, the Cameroon cut it down to 9 points difference, but about 6 players also were on double digits. That tells you that there's teamwork going on for these guys. I listened to Josh Okogie after the win against Tunisia, and he said first game was Caleb, second game can be him, the third game can be Ikenwamu, the third game can be Stan Okoye. Tells you that there's quality all around the back. And Kende, this is the sort of performance you need from a team to win in a team sport, isn't it?
Yeah. This is the sort of performance where everybody plays for everybody. The captain, I was listening to him after the Cameroon game, where he said, we realized at a point late into the third quarter, then fourth quarter, that we needed to defend deeply because the Cameroonians turned up the star. And that's what you do. Everybody's got everybody's back, and then you go in there and do the dirty work. Sometimes the clean work, the sweet work, is beautiful for everybody. Like we're talking, double-digit score line and all of that. That's always beautiful. But returning and blocking and defending. Sometimes you watch, some basketball games, and the blocks, the rebounds, the defense are what the most outstanding part of the team that actually won. And I think that's what the D Tigers are just done against Madagascar, against Tunisia at the point, and then they did it so well against Cameroon. And when you have a unit who are going in this role, now everybody is in tune with the fact that we can win. We can go against any team. All respect to Tunisia. During that game at a point, Tunisia looked lost. They look like, where are these guys from? Yes, we've got talent and all of that. But Tunisia have also had a core unit that, propelled them through, the line over competitions. And so they played this Nigeria team. And like you said, you were scared. I was scared. Everybody was scared. But they did the needful. And that really, did get Cameroon even scared before playing Cameroon. Yeah. And Cameroon, another decent side, and they did so well. Now, Senegal is watching all 3 games, and Senegal is already asking themselves question, how do we defend this team? Where you have a very good team that anybody can hit you. We're talking different names in different games, and double figure always when you have that in basketball, then you're already talking about a team that has got no so much of weakness, but more of strength. So the D Tigers, they are nothing like the D Tigers. The D Tigers are super special in Africa, but I think this is the time. Probably 10 years is really playing playing on them, and they want to really do some special.
Cecilia and Kendi, I was telling someone that the D Tigers gave a bit of their anointing to the men, and the men are using it. So let's hope that they will carry that to the final. Olumide Oyedeji, Cecilia mentioned it that he would join us on the show. The legend, former captain, D Tigers captain Olumide Oyedeji joins us on the show. Olumide, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Oh, I'm glad to be here and excited to be part of this wonderful program this evening.
Fantastic. The last time you were here, Olumide, you said some things that confirms your basketball. So good job. Particularly when you said about Cameroon, and then you gave us some confidence that this D Tigers team can go all the way. They are in the quarterfinals. Flawless group record. You think they can go the distance?
Oh, definitely no doubt. I believe this team can go all the way down. We probably have a very, very tough match against us in the quarterfinals. And the semifinal is not going to be that difficult, regardless, not really due respect to Cote d'Ivoire, because I know Cote d'Ivoire might likely, I'm not like pretty they're going to win. But let's take a game before we try to get to the semifinal round. We're talking about the Senegalese team right now. We're talking about the lengths, the bigger, the longer. They have the size, but we have the quickness, and we have the ability to score at any given time. We have about 4 or 5. We have between 3 to 6 guys or 7 guys that can put in double figures at any given time. And we're talking about one of the most Nigeria's most highlighted team over there. We're talking about looking about our athleticism, the way we play the game, having fun, enjoy the game. But hopefully we continue the way we played in the first and second and third quarter, half of it in the game against Cameroon, so that we'll be able to excel and going against Senegal. Because we won't be able to win it at all if we play the way we play in the fourth quarter. So, but nevertheless, even if we win by 1 point, a win is a win. But we had our runs towards the end of the fourth quarter, and the Cameroon had their own run. I'm glad at that run we don't have 14, 12 minutes, extra. So, because, if they continue having the run the way they have it, the runs will have to something else. But we just have to defend better. We can score against anybody. For sure. If you look at it, the average of our scoring, that team is a scoring machine.
That's right.
So ability for us to have a start when it matters, and coming from 30-point lead to the digits like a 9-point, and that's kind of tough. You're not going to win many games like that. But nevertheless, they did a great job. I'm sure, like I said, Coach Abdulrahman Mohammed, he knows what to do. The coaches have known what to do. The players especially know what to do. When talking about the guys that play at the highest level, Josh Okogie, I'm playing the Hero League, I'm talking about Okoye, and a couple of guys who've been in that team that are veterans. They know what to do and how to do it. But you have to play well and tidy the game up.
I agree. I know Cecilia can't wait to take it, but Olumide, let's look at the group games. I know no game is the same, but if there's one game you want to pick from the group stage that you'd like them to give that kind of performance against Senegal, which of the games will it be? Is it a performance against Madagascar, the one against Tunisia, or the one against Cameroon?
But one thing about basketball, each team gives you different type of game. You can go the inside game, you can go outside game. You might go out there just going to trap. You have a player that wants to score 20, 30 points. You have to try to get a ball off his hands. So you can come with a different one. But I think the game against Madagascar, we struggled a little bit to the middle of fourth quarter. The game was going head to head. That was the time they were leading us. But I don't want to see the game against Madagascar, but that was still a good game. But I'm talking the game against Tunisia. We came out flying. We came out smoking. We came out like we came out every single game, regardless. But I want us to just continue to have the game that we had against Tunisia. That was fantastic. We did a lot of things that we supposed to do. We do well, and then we continue to just. One thing I love about this basketball team is that when I have a philosophy, they say share, because it's not about one man show. We could play collectively. I always say that you share the ball, and you share the blame. And here we're going to share the glory. So which is what they've been doing. I'm very excited that they're doing that. Against Tunisia, I love to see that game, the fourth, second, and third quarter. Against Cameroon, I want to see that. Talking about the physicality, the Senegalese are going to match our physicality. So that is very, very tough. They're physical, they're aggressive, they're strong. I believe that, we're quicker, and we have the talent.
When you have talent, there's nothing you can do with it. All right, let's just give you a confirmation of what it's going to be like on Wednesday, the quarterfinals pairing, and also what we have, the matchup between Nigeria and Senegal, over the years. Now, we have confirmed quarterfinal fixtures for tomorrow. Côte d'Ivoire and Mali will start, of course, Nigeria and Senegal. Now, this is the big one. Now, let's take a look at Nigeria and Senegal. Of course, this is not the first time they are facing each other. There is history. So we'll just run through that history for you tonight on the show. Now, take a look at this. In August 14, 2023, it was the Olympic pre-qualifiers. Senegal 93 and Nigeria 87. Now, you come to 2019 in February 24th, and it was also 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup. It was a qualifier. And of course, Nigeria losing to Senegal, it was 84-63. Now let's go to 2018. And this was also qualifiers. It was Nigeria 89 and Senegal 61. When you look at these results, you're asking some questions. Now, we'll go to 2017. It was FIBA AfroBasket semi-final, of course. And Nigeria won this one, 79 and 76-71. Senegal got 71. And come to 2013, August 28, it was FIBA Africa Championship for men. And before the name was turned to AfroBasket. Quarterfinals, Nigeria 63 and Senegal 64. Nigeria losing by just 1 point. 2009, this was FIBA Africa Championship for men. Of course, the AfroBasket also. Semi-final, Nigeria 76 and Senegal 58. This was the highest scoring line we had against Senegal. That was in 2009. So when you're looking at these results, and you can ask yourself, Olumide, so I'm going to ask you this. These results, sometimes we say stats don't play games, but sometimes when you look at the stats and you're going into a game, it's a bit shaky because when you look at this and you look at Nigeria and the statistics that just real out, it seems Nigeria don't stand a chance. Well, you talked about talent and you talked about physicality, and we know how tall the Senegalese are. They are big. We know that. But they struggled against South Sudan, who's got the same size with them yesterday's game.
Oh, well, probably. I mean, let me just have a quick correction right there. But there was one that was missing. There was one that was omitted right there. Okay. So when we beat Senegal in the semifinals in 2015 AfroBasket,
yes.
So that was qualified to the finals. So I mean, it was a tough one.
You were there.
It was a tough match. But we had that. And also when you're talking about 1997, yes, we lost to them in Senegal in 1997 on the way to the finals of AfroBasket. In preliminary in 97, we won that tournament. We won that. 99, we won. 2001, I mean, we won them as well with about a lot of points, maybe about 25 or 28 points. That was in the Morocco, and also in 2003. So when you look at it for the last 20 years or 30 years, Nigeria have a hedge against Senegal. But Senegal getting better, Nigeria also getting better. But when you're talking about basketball, Nigeria and Senegal, they are the most talented basketball countries in the continent. There's no doubt. We're looking about the talent level. So we coming out there, try to play our game tomorrow against Senegal is going to be extremely important. Yes, we're a little bit smaller than them in sizes, but we're talking about the quickness, talking about the technicality, talking about together, they're playing together. I think we have an upper edge. I mean, they're going to have 5 players on the court. We will have 5 players on the court at the same time. But what we're not going to have, what we do not want to do as a team is to play a follow-up game, not to allow them to lead with about 15, 20, 18 points and try to play a chase-up game. No, we want to start a game from the beginning. But defensive with the intensity, for rebounding, boxing out, and then moving the ball around and be able to get a stop. So I have no doubt in my mind we can get all these things one done. I mean, no matter what happens, yeah, we are a scoring team. Okay? Everybody knows that. So, and if you have a bad day on offense, you can never get a bad day on defense because you have to cover the energy, intensity, effort. So discipline that's going to take you up. But no doubt, I believe we're going to have tomorrow's game. If we do not have to play a chasing game, we will not have them to have a run that we have to start chasing them and exchange baskets.
Okay, we're still talking basketball. And of course, it's the AfroBasket Championship taking place in Luanda, Angola, where the Tigers, after 10 years, is trying to see if they can win another title. Okay, Idris, we talked about Cameroon earlier, but the chances of, Olumide has mentioned that Nigeria, one thing about the Tigers is their high scoring side. I mean, they've made 15 3-pointers in the game against Cameroon. No team has done that so far in the tournament. So that means they can actually shoot. Yeah. That's what they have. What can they do against Senegal?
I think they would have to rely on their shooting, exactly. Olumide said something very marquee. He said they've shown that they're a team that can go from the inside, also come from the outside. So you have to understand what team. Madagascar, Tunisia, Cameroon will not pose the same threat like Senegal would do because they are not as big as the Senegalese. So I doubt if going in from the inside will work out well against the Senegalese, except if they are very poor at defending with all of their with their size. So you'd have to depend on going from the outside. Now that does not bother me because I feel the D Tigers have gotten themselves, Abdurrahman Mohammed has gotten his boys to a place where they can actually really score. How do you defend against this Senegalese side? Because in basketball, go to the leagues, Euro League, NBA, and all of that, size is something that is very, very marquee. You have a big man, just under the basket, so you could shoot from anywhere. He rebounds and then return it to the basket. That might be a huge problem. But also, I just said, Hike, the captain, talking about how they have to defend unitly. They have to defend, for each other. I think that is another thing they would have to really work on, do to a very exceptional level against the Senegalese. And whether you take the size and all of that, this Senegalese team is a fantastic basketball team in Africa. So whenever we have to play Senegal, Mali, it's a big worry. No disrespect to every other team, but when you know those are in a different class, you just have to mention them. And we've gotten here, but like they say in sports, if you have to be the best, you just must find a way to beat the best or who are the best in there. So the D Tigers come tomorrow. You just must play against Senegal, find a way to beat them, whether you want to go from the outside or after maybe first quarter, you see that there are a way for you to go from the inside. So they just must do that. So Abdurrahman Mohammed, I'm not envious of where you find yourself now, but you've also gotten your team to a very good psychological place where they feel they can go against any team.
I love that. Let's wrap this up. I will say what Senegalese were able to do against South Sudan. That's how they were able to win that game. That second ball, the rebounds that they did. I think one player actually had 13 rebounds and blocking 2 shots. That's Ibo Badji. That was actually one of the turning points because they had players who came from the bench that were able to make a difference. What can we do differently in those areas? Olumide, can you hear me? Okay.
Well, I think what we need to. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, you can.
Okay. I think what we need to do a lot is we have to be able to defend very well against Senegal team. Like I said, they're a very big team. They're long. They're very athletic. We have to try to slow them down because they're going to run a lot of fast break. We have to challenge every single day shot. We need a boxer. We need to play defense a lot. I think we need to move them from point A to point B. And if we can do this and stay disciplined. And hopefully, our shot keep dropping. We really shoot a lot of threes, and we shoot really good so far now. So what I'm really worried about now is our ability for us to be able to stop the big because they have a confidence played against the South Sudan, where a lot of people think they're going to be the favorite, one of the top 2, top 3 teams in the tournament. They came down, they won that game. So it's just something that we need to worry about. But at the same time, I don't need to worry about them. I'm sure we watch a lot of tips of them, and we just have to make sure we do the right thing by getting this stuff. That's when, again, basketball, we play 40 minutes of basketball, not play 30 minutes of basketball like we play, or 32 minutes we played the last game. We play 40 minutes of competitive basketball.
So before we let you go, another point of worry, but you being the professional, maybe you will help us, with some calm. There is no true point guard in this team. Is that a problem?
Oh, well, no matter how you do it, Nike say, just do it. Yes, nowadays basketball, you probably have a guy that can play 1, 2, 3. I play multi-dimensional, which is kind of Joshua Koge is playing right here now, which was a Hakanwama playing as a big guard. We can just start the game at any time. Yes, you need a point guard, but at the same time, we're winning. Why do you try to fix a glass that's not broken? So you might come down, so we just have to continue to play the way we play. The coach knows the style of game he wants to play. He's been winning. So hopefully we continue to win and do what we do and what we love to do and what we do best.
We'll see. Olumide, before you go, give us a prediction. How will the game end? Nigeria, Senegal.
I'm a Nigerian guy. Of course, yes, I have to wear. I'm a green, white, green for life. So not Senegal green. Nigerian green for sure.
That's right.
So I believe technically, I think we're going to win. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close game in the first quarter, second quarter. And the third quarter might be a little shaky, but at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, I believe that we have the game and we're getting ready.
We'll see. Thanks so much.
The finals.
Okay. I'll bring you back when we get to the final. I say you said so. Thank you so much, Olumide Ideji, your time on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Austin. Cecilia, nice seeing you back again. So hopefully to see you more in basketball, especially in the female one coming up.
All right.
Okay. D Tigers, former D Tigers captain Olumide Ideji. I don't know if I give Olumide the ball, if he can still dunk. I would have asked him that, but I think he still knows his basketball. Kehinde Idris, did he say the things you wanted to hear?
Yeah. When you hear professionals who play the game to that height, talk, they pose a lot of confidence in you. I can't go against what Olumide, of course, I also see, but Olumide see even further, when it comes to basketball. And yes, he mentioned something that I'm really riding on. He said, tire them out, find a way to be swift off, from your end to the other end, where big men, you just have to find a way to wear them out. And maybe that might just be our key to doing so well. And then he said, first quarter, second quarter might be tight, third quarter a bit, then kill it off in the fourth quarter. That has to do with wearing them out, over 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter where they are down and out, you hit them. So I'm confident. Olumide has said it. Just right with Olumide.
This is our time, right?
Exactly.
I want to celebrate Afro-Basket. Come on, let's just keep on with the celebration. Yeah. That's why the damper we are having in between. Double celebrations came. We thought it was going to be triple. But then there's a downer. But we're still expecting the third one, tripit. That's what we're doing this season because sport is getting more attention. Things we'll be yearning for. We're seeing all of it. Now, let's talk about the boys that broke our hearts. I'm still recovering from that headache against Sudan. Okay, Austin, sometimes you just need to play for pride. And that was what Super Eagles Team B did this evening. Let's just get confirmation of the games that went down this evening. And of course, you have the perspective of how it all ended. The final Group D games for today at the African Nations Championship. Nigeria and Congo ended 2-0 in favor, of course, of Nigeria. Then Sudan and Senegal ended goalless. They know what they needed to do, and they did it. And then both had to go. Of course, Nigeria had to, they packed their bags. Is that they were just waiting for this game to get on their plane ticket and then had to go home. All right, that's confirmation of it for you at the games that went down earlier today. Now, for tomorrow, confirmed quarter-final fixtures where Nigeria will not be a part of this one. Kenya and Madagascar. Now, just look at the teams. Co-hosts, right? Tanzania and Morocco. Co-hosts, they are also in the quarterfinals. It tells you a whole lot about it. Okay, there's something. Nigeria is actually not the only team that out. South Africa also out. You know that, right? We need to rub that in and let people know and understand that, yes, South Africa, they are also out of the tournament. Theirs was a very, very unique and funny one. I need to get this out of the way, Austin, before talking about Super Eagles. Now, they were leading 3-1, thinking, we're already in the quarterfinals. And somehow, Uganda, right, a co-host, right, they did something unthinkable. They scored 2 more, and it ended 3-3. They needed a win to sneak into the quarterfinals. That didn't happen. So that's more painful, because when it's just within you, and then shatters.
So this is a consolation.
Yes, that gladdens my heart. So the headache I had, was finally going. It's still there, but I'm sure maybe by tomorrow, when some teams are going home, will finally be out. Okay, Austin, so let's talk about the Chan Eagles now. The game earlier today. Sikiru Alimi, Remo Stars, and then Anas Yusuf, Nasarawa United. These are the guys that ensure that we won't be whipping. The headache won't continue. But then somehow they close out their Group B campaign. Group D campaign on a high, bowing out on a high against Congo. Group D.
We expected them to do this same thing in their last game against Sudan. I think the setup, Eric Shell just needs to find a way to make sure that his system works with the Super Eagles. We can take this with the Chan team. We will not take it with the Super Eagles when the real qualifiers for the World Cup comes in September. There was just something about a switch in play and the sort of players that he used, and it worked. I would have allowed the other man wearing the Super Eagles outfit, Coach Daniel, to take charge of this team, and whatever happens, we can call it, learning process. But with Eric Schell being the Super Eagles coach and this team played the way they played, I think everything is on him, unfortunately. But it was important that they finished on the high, and I think Kehinde on the streets will say at all, but were there lessons in this for the Chan Eagles, or they're just going to come back home and get the same bashing that they've been getting right after their first 2 games?
I think anybody bashing the Chan players, the Super Eagles B players, are just being funny. Sometimes, you're picking players from rumbles, and our league is testament to. Yes, some people will be like, but South Africa is out, but there are so many leagues that are out. Yes, you can say that, but we don't want to compare ourselves to those who are getting ousted. We want to compare ourselves to those who are getting the wins. And more so, South Africa might be ousted in this, they performed well in some others. We have not enjoyed victory, that's thorough victory at the Chan level. And it just shows what our league is all about. Now, we worry because you're talking of Anas now, you're talking of Sikiri Alimi. By tomorrow morning, you can hear that they are off the Chan because they've left, the shores of Nigeria.
Anas is going to Tanzania.
Exactly, because our league is not, so many players playing there are playing to be seen. See me and then sign me elsewhere. Otherwise, we have leagues in Africa where the players are super comfortable. They want to be here, so you can bank on them. No coach team for another 1 year, in fact, for another 3 months. You cannot bank on any chancing because it is what it is. Every player wants to get out there. Unduka Jr., who is the captain, you might just hear by the end of next week is also. So, a whole lot happening to our football. Let us, get to a point where there's reliability, where a coach can beat his chest and say, in another 6 months, these are the people I can plan with, the core and all of that. In our case, it is who you see that you get to use. So, as much as I want to put it on the coach, because I saw games where I don't even understand what we're playing, but I also, want to look in the way of stability. Something needs to give way for us to have some level of stability, talking about players that are in our league, every now and then. So the Chan, maybe someday, one day, if we have that stability in the league, we will be talking about a better Chan appearance or better representation for Nigeria at the Chan level.
I think that's heavy, Austin, right? Because that's something, we're talking about the fact that when you're going into a tournament, you have you thought you were going to go with the players who helped to qualify. And then 8 of those players are out. And then you're drafting in a coach of the senior national team to come, pick the ones they could pick and then go for a tournament. As you said you would have preferred if Gumandede was the one who took charge of this team, because 9 of the players chosen were actually from his team. They just won the league. Maybe he could have handled it better, because somehow when you're sitting with your senior, there's not much you can do. The only thing you can do is to assist and maybe give some advice. But it now depends on the head coach if he's going to take it or not. We really don't know what went down. We don't even know why he had to take the team. These are questions we've been asking. Some people saying it's actually part of his contract to take the team to this championship. I felt he could have done that, but not as a head coach. He could have maybe played advisory role or something, just be there to give them that moral booster or something, maybe because he's more experienced, literally speaking, so to speak, because he has taken a team to, the African nations, Africa Cup of Nations, the senior national team. Maybe because of that, those are the things that we're looking at. But in all, overall, his presence in the team may have also played another factor, in the kind of performance that we saw, especially against South Sudan, against Sudan, when we didn't have answers for anything. They literally gave up. The fighting spirit was gone.
I mean, they have natural players. I think his diamond system failed him, or execution was the problem. I know Coach Eric Shell is big on game projects, creating an identity, and I've said it.
Grammar.
Nigerian football is in a state of emergency. Anytime players step on the pitch, people just want results, particularly when you call them super eagles, So I think there were no natural players, and if you try to switch it to the 4-4-2, you should have players who could run. Today was a cross from Sadiq Ismail, and Alimi was getting on it. The other one was Yusuf. These are players that are tested. But in the first two games, it was experimenting. And with football, when you blink, you start asking questions. And that was what happened against Sudan. They will learn from it. But it's just unfortunate, as I said, because it's all data mining. So now the media will jump on it. The next game, they'll say, oh, don't come and give us the kind of experience you give to us at Chan. Nigeria must qualify for the World Cup. And all those things. That's a way of affecting players and the coaching crew psychologically. But I just hope that they'll be professional, pick themselves back up, because September, there'll be no stories.
September is next month. I mean, it's really not so far. But then someone like me, I'm giving up on the World Cup because I don't know how we're going to do that, because the qualification
Would you, FIFA,
is not.
If FIFA docked 3 points from South Africa, Cecilia, why should you give up?
Austin,
if they dock 3 points from South Africa, I will win our remaining games, then we'll qualify. But you got docked 3 points from South Africa, you cannot beat Benin Republic or beat Zimbabwe. So problem.
Exactly. It's not in your hands, really. That's the thing. You can always beat your chest and say we can do this, because we've seen, if we all remember what happened against Ghana in Abuja.
Yeah.
I mean, you were playing at home. Mm-hmm. You knew you needed to win. Like, what happened? So sometimes it's hard to actually predict, because when a Lesotho will come to Nigeria and you can't
get results.
Do you understand?
Seriously.
So it's actually hard to say. So these are some of the things you look at. And then you feel, okay, you know what? Let's just let them play and see what comes out after that. So you really don't have that confidence. I mean, when the Falcons didn't have much preparation, I know Austin will tell me that I'm going back there. When they didn't have much preparations going into the Nations Cup, and people were saying, we know them, when they get there, you see what they would do.
Perform.
So just somehow, people just have that belief in them that it's not these girls, forget it, they will do something. And then you meet them, they'll tell you that this one is personal for me, forget, we don't want to have a wanted record. Yeah. So when you hear that, when they talk, the confidence in it, but you don't hear that when you hear Super Eagles players talk. So it's always if and when. So you're now asking yourself, if you that is going to play the ball don't even have that confidence.
So who am I?
That's the thing. Where is it coming from?
I used to, until, I started relating with you properly. Officially, Cecilia is one of the most optimistic Nigerians we have. I thought I used to be so optimistic until, Cecilia is right there. But talking about the Super Eagles now, the optimism flew out. And I'm hearing, some fine line of pessimism, right there. But she's just, you're just being factual. You're facing logic, calculation. The numbers are what you're going by. And yes, at this point, that's what we should be looking at. Because even, I was watching the Zimbabwe game. It was a case of, do you guys really know we're one goal up and we're playing a relaxed football when we're this on the edge? The conversation would have been completely different if we added 2 more points to what we have on the table. But it is what it is. What Austin also said is, there's 2 chances there. The points deduction, where Genaro has been speaking up saying, deduct it now before we start, before we resume qualifier. Let everybody know where they stand. If that happens now, let's be practical. Rwanda is coming here. Can we beat Rwanda in Nigeria? We're going to South Africa to play Brosman's South Africa. Can we beat them in South Africa? These are very precarious situations, but I've also seen the Super Eagles rise at that point where you do not give them a chance. But when you brought out that Ghana, I think you killed all of the optimism again. Going away to Ghana, I played 0-0, beautiful. Come back home, kill Ghana off, and then you fumbled. We couldn't go to the World Cup, one of the finest World Cups that we've seen. It was played in the winter. No World Cup have we seen in the winter. Now we're going to a 48 format, three country World Cup. I think Nigeria needs to understand some things that has to do. That has to 3 countries. That has to do exactly. That has to do with your football, the kind of history, the things that are being said. I think sometimes we just feel it is another tournament. No, so many tournaments are not just another tournament. They are a special tournament. Yes, they are very historic, and we need to understand that. And like you said, the personnels, the Ademolas, the Osimens, the Victor Bonifaces, and all of that. Then the Eric Sekou, probably assisted by Daniel Ogumode, the Jabol, Fidelis. Everybody who are in charge, the administrators, like I always call them, I think for me, they're always my biggest issue, need to understand that these are tournaments that come with a whole lot, and we need to rub shoulders there. We need to be there. This is the Super Eagles.
Austin, the producer, Irene Ewoma, he just said that men's football is actually more difficult. That's why, Super Eagles don't get to qualify. But I don't know if that's the reason. But he corrected me and said it's more difficult. When I was talking about the confidence you see or you hear from the Falcons when they're going into difficult tournaments. I don't know if you share that opinion.
Yeah, don't do that to me. But I love the Super Falcons. But again, I agree with Irene that it's not the same level of competition. I always say it. But I always commend the resilience of Nigeria women's team, from the Super Falcons to the D Tigress to the Falconets to the Flamingos. We know that they don't get the desired, required attention before any tournament. And they still go out there, to give us their best. But this was a big positive from this CHAN experience for Nigeria, and that was Ebenezer Harcourt. You guys remember him? He was born in 2009, and he has become the youngest player ever to represent, the Super Eagles. So that was a good one. Let's look at Ebenezer and find a way, to have some progression with our men's national team, because we see it with the women. We see young players from the Flamingos get into the Falconets and get into the Super Falcons, from the Deborah Abiodun to the Tosin, the main, even Asisa Toshola. We all saw her story, Rashida Dajibade, Chiamaka Nadozie. We haven't seen that with the Super Eagles for ages. So we need to build. That's what this CHAN experience is telling us. Pay attention. Stop this win at all costs. Fix your house. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan, and in everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, just a quick one before we go. Remo Stars will not be playing in their Remo Stadium simply because it's going under renovation. So it's the Abeokuta Stadium. That's where they will be playing their opening game. MPFL is starting on Thursday. When we come here on Thursday, we will be talking about Nigeria Premier Football League. Thank you so much, Kehinde, for coming on the show tonight.
It's good to be here, but I want to tell you, Rene, you would only be judged by the competition you're in. Nobody will judge you by the competition you're not in.
Thank you. And confidence is not difficult. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a good night's rest.